Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
And what we've got for you is our NCIS Season 17 premiere reaction. It has been a long summer. I thought the train to Ziva Town was going to get stalled out at some point, and it was just going to feel like we were never going to get there.
Yep, finally the train started. I thought it was going to be a nice slow ride. You guys have been hearing me say this all summer since last spring that we would have that slow ride into Ziva Town. It was not like that at all. It was a bullet train. This premiere was bonkers.
There's a lot that happened. I mean, that is probably the greatest microcosm of all time, but there's a lot that happened.
Bonkers.
Yes, a lot to go through in this video. Before we do, if you enjoy this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, we'll put a link to the description below if you want to check out the preview for what is coming on episode 2. If you saw that promo, it's equally bonkers to everything that we're talking about tonight. All right, where do we begin? I think let's just start with this. How good did it feel to see Ziva on NCIS again?
It was so good to see her back. I feel like, I feel like I'm gonna cry. So it was so nice to see her back in action. There was so much that I just loved about it. I loved seeing her with Gibbs. I loved seeing her in action. I loved seeing the vulnerable moments with her. There's just so much that I loved seeing about her back. What was it like for you?
It was a roller coaster, like a really good roller coaster, not like the one where you throw up on it, but like one that you actually just want to get back in line.
I was gonna throw up a little bit at the end of it. There was so much excitement.
Yeah, no, this is a this is a vomit free video. This is not that sort of video. If you're looking for that, there's probably another corner of the internet for you. But
a bit like Jimmy, I'm having the Jimmy anxiety about it, where he said, "I feel like I'm gonna throw up." I felt like that through the whole episode about what was happening. There was just so much happening.
It was surprisingly funny at times. I wasn't expecting this episode to be as funny as it was, with Bishop storming into the bathroom, with Jimmy passing out, or
Nick trying to pass the buck. I knew the least in this situation with Vance.
I always love that sort of thing.
They are more guilty than me.
How can you still have your job? No, this was a surprisingly funny episode at times. Moving at others, I think it really played back to earlier seasons of the show. I think it was sort of both a nice little picture into what NCIS is now, but also what NCIS was a long time ago. And I think they sort of married the two really well. And there were a lot of little things that I think we were both collectively surprised to see. But I think let's start with the Tony of it all, that Tony was mentioned and referenced with more frequency, honestly, than I was really expecting coming into this episode.
Especially in that first segment. He was mentioned so much that before I felt like the door might be open a little bit. Could we have a reunion? I hoped so, but you never know.
Yeah, of course.
Show. Anything can happen. He's working on another show. He's working full time. He's across the country filming. It can happen, but it could happen slowly, or small. It would be a little doorway. Now with all these mentions, I'm trying to get back to Tony, I'm trying to get back to Tolly, all of this, that door is blown wide open now. I feel fairly confident, 99.999% that this reunion is going to happen, and I may be getting myself too hyped up, and I may be getting myself disappointed, but it just feels like they are not going to put this out there. This is the same thing I said about the She episode. They're not going to put this out there and not pay it off. Steve and Frank have paid off.
Okay, yes, they have. Do you remember the gif? I don't know if you've even seen the gif of Big Bird knocking down the door and he's just staring terrifying on the other side.
That's what I'm going to be like at Steve and Frank's door at this point if I don't see it. There is going to be payoff. I feel it in my heart. Everything that they've been building towards, they have paid it off. And I just feel like they're not opening that door or talking about that for no payoff. What do you think?
This is taking a real turn to the direction that I did not expect coming in here, where we were going to like break down Steve and Frank's doors. I like to think of them as like living next door to each other too, and they have like signs up that says NCIS boss lives here.
That's right.
That's our only real hope.
Well, if they're living next to each other, then it's a shorter distance to ninja kick down one door and ninja kick down the other. But I don't feel that that's going to happen. No. So Steve and Frank, you guys don't have to worry about it.
No, rest assured.
Yeah, we're not coming for you. Yeah. So I think they've done a really, really solid job with this premiere. The Tony of it all, really interesting. I thought this was going to be a slow ride. I thought we would get there with Tony and Tolly and a reunion, but I did not expect it to be mentioned quite as frequently and so quickly. First segment.
Yeah, right away. I mean, let's go through some of the information we learned here. So it doesn't seem as though Tony or Tolly have that much in the way of information here about what's going on with Ziva.
Yeah, which was a bit of a surprise to me because I've liked to feel all this time that they are together. They may be all in hiding together, but that he knows. He's a very good agent. It makes it and he left to go find her. Like, I feel like he would have found her. And it sort of brings us to that moment where Ziva was telling off Gibbs.
Best moment of the episode.
Absolutely. Matt can attest to this. I was screaming. I'm like, yeah, you tell him. You tell him, Ziva. Why weren't you looking? It was such a good moment. And it made me feel even more that Tony should have found her in this time. Because I don't think that he would have stopped.
I don't think that he would have stopped either. I mean, I think this is a testament of one or two things. Either that, Ziva has just hidden herself so effectively that she can't just possibly be found, or that Tony has been looking for his love in all the wrong places. See what I did there? Then also, so that might be some of what is going on here. But I do have this question. I mean, if I'm going to nitpick anything with this episode, Ziva got onto the bus with like no mask, like nothing else. She's just like, she should be wearing like, you know what the contestants on The Masked Singer wear when they're like not up on stage performing, where they got like the full body,
the shirt that says "Don't talk to me."
Yeah, Ziva should have been wearing that when she was on the bus, because it's like, what if like her old pal was like, oh, isn't that Ziva over there sitting on the bus?
Okay, I have to agree. I didn't think of that at first, but it's absolutely true. She's been in hiding and all this time, she can't even see Tony. She can't see her daughter, but she's gonna ride around on the bus.
Don't get me wrong.
No, that wasn't.
Okay.
No.
I'm not trying to melt your brain down.
I completely understand why it had to be in there. There had to be a drop point.
Yeah, they did. They did have to be there. Like, I get it, but this is not taking away anything from what was otherwise an outstanding episode of television. Very compelling, very upsetting at a couple of times because I thought something terrible was going to happen. There was a lot that went on here, but yes, let's get into more of this Gibbs and Ziva conversation that you talked about, because this was the big moment, because it's another question that the two of us, we have gone through it with you guys on the channel before.
And we've been talking about it all summer long. How long has Gibbs known that she's alive? If he knew that she was alive? That question feels, he didn't answer her when she was like, why didn't you look for me? Like, how could you do this? He didn't answer, so we still don't 100% know what the answer is.
Yeah, and I still kind of think that he did a little bit. Like, I don't know to what extent, but Gibbs isn't really the sort of person who's going to be like, all right, let me pull out the receipts right now and show you all the work that I've done. It just, that doesn't behoove him in the moment. I think, Gibbs is going to maybe, weeks down the line, if Ziva's okay and this problem is just all kind of taken care of, maybe he'll like call her into the office or whatever at that point and see like, here's what I did. Here's what I did. It's all okay. Nothing to worry about. But I think that speaks to a certain degree of how just like lonely and devastating and isolating it has to be like away from the man you love, away from your daughter, no real understanding as to when you're going to get back. I mean, let's talk now about the anxiety portion of this, because I know you appreciated the vulnerability that was here.
Yeah, I did. And I've talked a little bit about this on the channel and on Twitter and stuff like that, but I have severe anxiety. I am home a lot. I don't leave a lot. I don't go out to a lot of social events or anything like that. I have a lot of anxiety. I know there's a lot of other people out there that suffer with this. So to see someone like Ziva, who is such a badass, who's such a ninja, who will go out there and kick ass and take names, be dealing with something like anxiety where I don't feel like a ninja. I don't feel like a badass. I don't kick down anybody's doors.
You can be a ninja.
Maybe. Well, that's what I'm feeling after seeing this, that it's Ziva is all of these things. Yeah. She's always had her human side. She's always had her kick-ass side. But this, having this particular anxiety disorder, I was bawling my eyes out watching this part when she started talking about it. I have always connected with the show, but I never connected with this show like I did tonight.
Well,
on a very deep personal level, I've connected with this show, and even more so with Ziva than I ever thought possible.
And I think the real truth of it is it's just, representation matters in a lot of different ways. I mean, we could be talking about, someone with a disability being present on TV, someone with an illness present on TV, someone who, in this case has anxiety present on TV, where it doesn't matter who you are, you can be, one of the
affected by
this. One of the most awesome agents we have ever seen on television, someone who has been labeled the ninja of NCIS, and then still have these sort of moments. I think it really spoke to sort of the human element of everything that is going on here. And, we had a lot, I think, understandable human emotion throughout this episode from a lot of different characters. I mean, let's talk a little bit about reactions, because what did you think about the way that McGee reacted to what he found out that Bishop has known this whole time that Ziva was alive?
It's completely understandable that was his first reaction. Like, if you were, I was told that you were dead, and then 5 years later, somebody that didn't even really know you and never met you has been keeping it a secret, and they're someone that I know, there'd be a lot more than I'm yelling at somebody. Somebody might get a
they might get their door broken down like Steve and Frank's place.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Yes. Somebody might get their door broken down.
I mean, it's
I
true.
Would be really mad, and I completely understand why McGee was as pissed off as he was. Did he get through it? Yes. Did he start to kind of understand it a bit better as Bishop explained it, as when he saw the moment with Ziva where she just had to give him a look to be like, don't do it. Don't follow me. I'm asking you to stop. Just with a look, that he started to really get what kind of danger she was in and why Bishop made the choice that she did. That she doesn't even know Ziva, but she's trusting Ziva and trusting what Ziva needs.
Yeah, I liked McGee's reaction a lot because, well, one, I like it when McGee is angry, and that probably sounds really weird, but, like, Sean Murray never gets to play angry on this show. Like, he's always kind of like, nice guy McGee, or, oh, here's McGee doing a nerdy thing, and it's like, here's genuinely angry McGee over something that has been kept from him.
Very human reaction.
Yeah. I thought it was really wonderful. I thought it was really well done. I like how I really liked the Palmer reaction because it felt so pure to Jimmy Palmer that he would just accidentally stumble upon something like that.
Yeah.
And then we have that information handed down. And, this episode, I mean, it was really action-packed. We found out a little bit of what's going on here.
Yep.
Not everything, obviously, but Ziva is out to do whatever she can in order to get back to Tony and Tali. That is her driving force. And she is willing to kill Sahar in order to make sure that happens. But Gibbs, being the Gibbs that we know, does not want her to lose herself in the process of that.
No, and it's understandable why. But at the same time, I think he doesn't understand what she's already gone through in the dark places that she's been, already giving up her love, her life, her daughter. She's given up everything already. There is I think inside her, she feels like there's not a lot left to give up. There's only at this point to go up and to gain.
Yeah, there's just, I don't think there is anything, like there's no other way that she can stop herself at this point. Like I think that's the best way I can possibly describe it, because here she's basically looking at her the face of evil to her. Like the thing that has kept her from everything. She's lost full years of her life. It is a darn good thing that Gibbs was there in that room at that time, and we may still have more dark turns to come here.
There may be more dark turns to come. That whole situation has not been 100% resolved yet. Is it possible we're going to see Ziva kick Gibbs down and barrel roll over him and still kill her? Like, yeah, anything's possible here. Don't laugh. It's possible.
I always laugh when someone says the words barrel roll. Like, it reminds me of Star Fox 64. There's no way I can't do it. But, okay, let's just, as we start to summarize everything here and wrap this up, we have taken a trip to Ziva Town. We've seen the sights. We've explored the scenery, but we're kind of entering a tunnel right now. Kind of not unlike the tunnel that Ziva and Gibbs were in during this episode. And
also, could we just talk a minute about the fact that Gibbs has an escape tunnel in his house? What was happening there? Oh, who has an escape tunnel in their house? I thought that was that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it makes sense for him. All right, and here's this secret tunnel into what? Why? Why is this a thing that you need to have?
Side note, how sweaty did that have to be filming that? Like, really think about that. Like, it was really hot when this episode was filmed. It was like July. You were in some tunnel. I mean, maybe it's just a set, but still.
Yeah.
Not look particularly pleasant. But anyhow, I think we're all happy. We got a lot of Ziva. We got some Tony mentions.
Yep.
Here is to hoping we have a really exciting NCIS Season 17 coming up. And, you know, Jessica and I, we are hoping that you guys hang out with us for the entirety of this ride. We will have new videos for you every week. Tuesdays, we want to be your go-to spot. You watch NCIS, then you come, and it's like we're all having a conversation and just yelling at each other over some of the things we like or don't like.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you in the comments. We want to know what you thought of this episode. Are you happy with it? Did you want more? Did you think it was going to be a slower ride? Are you excited? We want to know.
Yeah, take us into your world. And to go along with that, if you enjoyed this discussion, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to support us more, just check out that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you here next time.